Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad. Today we're going to talk about Roundhill. We're going to talk about last week's distributions. We're going to talk about this week's coming distributions. We're going to talk about the following week's distributions. We're going to talk about their calls. We're going to talk about the 22-hour New York Stock Exchange and give you my opinion at the end. So first of all, how did we do, or how did I do in my estimations from my last video? Well, I said they were going to pay 23 cents on XDTE, 20 cents on QDTE, and RDTE was 32 cents. Well, what did they pay? Well, they paid 23 cents, they paid 20 cents, and they paid 33 cents. Well, we'll give them that 33 cents because there's probably a little extra there from holding treasuries. But you can see the numbers for yourself. I am within decimal points of a penny on their actual premiums. Now, this week, unfortunately, this week, I'm going to have to lower my projections. Last video, I said that they were going to pay 15 cents on XDTE this week, 14 cents for QDTE this week, and 26 cents for RDTE this week. Unfortunately, I have to lower those to 14.4, 13.5, and 21.5. That is just how the numbers play out. Why am I saying that they're going to pay lower this video than last video? Share count. This is 100% based on share count. That's it. Same revenue numbers, but when you add shares, those shares get to participate in the calls from 2 weeks ago. So XDTE went up 240,000 shares. QDTE went up 700,000 shares. RDTE went up 270,000 shares. When you add in that additional share count, your premiums go down. It's just math. That's all. Not Brad looking at the numbers going, adjust. It's just the math. So currently, the projections for 2 weeks from now is XDTE is 20 cents, QDTE is 25 cents, and unfortunately, I missed 1 day for RDTE, so I'm going to have to guess at what that's going to be. I'm actually going to wait for Reaching Riches to do his video so I can actually get the actual number, what they got paid for the premium. I have the call number and I have what it closed and it finished out of the money, so it was a good day. But what I don't have is what did they actually get paid for that call option that day. And unfortunately, I'm not going to yell at my assistant because, that's how marriages stay positive. Just saying. I'm not going to blame her for not capturing that one this week, maybe next week. But never yell at your wife. Just don't do it. It never works out in your favor. If I look at XDTE calls, they only had one call this week that ended up being in the money. I don't know why they sold it at 0.13 out of the money, but that's what they did. And you can see the outcome. They lost a little money there. It also shows you that amount through the strike. So this is the distance that you're getting away from the actual index. And it continues to grow on a weekly basis. Sometimes. Some weeks, no problem. They make every call and there's no issues. QDTE, well, this week they had 2 bad days. They get another half a point, a little over half a point away from the actual index. But hey, it is what it is. You can see that they really only made $152,000 this week, but they're going to pay you the $3 million. Just saying that's how it actually calculates out. And you'll get about 25 cents, assuming that the share count doesn't increase between now and 2 weeks from now. RDTE, well, this is the one I don't have Tuesday's numbers. I have what they sold it for. I know it finished out of the money, but I don't know the premiums they got for that day. So every call finished out of the money. So no distance from the index. So that's a good thing. Now, will they be paying somewhere in the mid-20s? I'm going to say they're going to pay mid-20s just because everything else is being sold at $2 to $3. Sometimes they get $4. I just don't know that number, so I have to put a little asterisk on. I missed a day. Sorry, guys. I'm going to blame the wife, but never blame your significant other. It doesn't work out well for you. That's this week's review of Roundhill. Now, so what about this 22 hours trading on the New York Stock Exchange? And how is this going to affect 0DTE? My personal opinion is no effect. Well, maybe some, because now Americans will be able to react to earnings and calls from the stocks. We'll be able to participate. Now, people on Robinhood were already allowed to do this. People on Fidelity were not always allowed to do this. It's going to play out that way. But how many people are up at way hours of the morning betting on the stock market? None. Right? But if you are a night owl, now you can look at the stock market when the Europeans are looking at the stock market. And you can also look at the stock market when the Asians are looking at the stock market. And that's that gap up that we were seeing. Will the gap up continue to happen? I'm going to say probably, maybe. Your guess is mine. But options haven't changed because options are not on the New York Stock Exchange. If they change options, then this might affect how Roundhill is doing this. But we don't know what they're going to do with options because it's not on the New York Stock Exchange. One thing I did say earlier today on a post, I actually have an interview with Jay. Well, as you know, I don't normally record my interviews. I just usually have a bunch of questions to ask. And I have some questions to ask Jay because I'm looking at the prospectus on some of this and it doesn't match up to what I understood what he said. And we're going to get some clarification on this is what the prospectus says and this is what you said. Which one is correct? If you have any questions that I might want to ask Jay, leave them down below. Remember, I only have 30 minutes and it's not like it's going to be in depth, but there is several questions I have for Jay about how they're actually handling some of this. Until next time, God bless.